Most of you will want to level your pad or your site before you do this. They can lay the perimeter out and go ahead and drive their post and then run a line and then go ahead and cut everything off. In other words, down here there might be a post sticking out of the ground 2 foot and up here 6 inches. And then they'll bring the soil and put it around them and put their pad in that way. There's several ways to do this. There's several ways to fry chicken, I guess. So they're going to demonstrate this now.
What we try to do is we'll line up our first, whatever line we want to measure or square up to. If it's a road, if it's a long side, or if it's a short side, that would be your dominant side. So we're assuming that we're going to use the road as an example here. The first thing that we're going to do is take a stake. If you have this house is going to be a 24 by 64. So we're going to drive a pin here where the corner of the house is going to be. And we got to establish this line. So what we've done is measure at this pin, 24 by 64 to where Mitchell is, and then we just run these stakes. These stakes are where we're going to put our batter board. Now what we've done, we've made these little gizmos to hold up our batter board, if you will, and we just drop these in. These can be anywhere. So when you drop this in, then you'll be able to put this, and then when we drive those pins, we'll use this string, and we can move this string anywhere we want to be right over that pin. So now we're going to do the 3, 4, 5 rule.
Yeah, it's a squaring rule.
Yeah. So we run down here the 3, 4, 5, and whatever multiplier you use, if you use this house will be 24 feet, so we're using 8 times 3 on the 3 side. The 3, 4, and the 5 is across here. 8 times 3, 24. So we ran. Didn't do that stake yet. We went down here 32 feet. 4 times 8. Thank you very much. And then we're going to take this stake off. Mitchell, come hook this up here. Oh, here at this stake. And we'll put the stake there. So now we've come over here and we've got the 24, and then the 5 leg, and this is where we drive this stake.
So you bring these two together where the 24 and the 40 meet, and then that's where you're going to drive your stake.
So where they come together, that means it's square. This corner is square.
So this is the right angle here. The question was, where do we know to put this stake? So again, the second leg, this is a 3, and the 4 side, 4 times 8 is 32, so we go down 32 feet and put that stake.
I thought it was away from this.
Okay, but so we put it right under the line. Now again, we can move this, adjust this very easily if we're off. So now we're going to go down and take this stake off from there and hook up to that stake. Take this one on this one, and then we'll get close to where our corner is at that end.
Whenever you want to say something, here it is.
And just tap this. We don't have to put it in hard. Just. Okay, what we're doing now, we're taking this stake, and this is going to be close. That pin should be real close to a squared up house. We're going to go ahead and drive these rebar, or the sucker rod, get ready to put our batter board in so we can adjust that and measure our diagonals.
This looks a little complicated, guys, but if you'll just take your time and check it and recheck it, you can do this. There's a lot of information out there on how to do this in our construction manual. There's information on this process. It's done a little differently than they do this, and the way that they're demonstrating rather, but the idea, the more care you take in getting this done properly to start with, it's like building anything. If you've got a square and a true and a plumb and a level perimeter, your house is going to go up so much easier. You're not going to have to bend things, twist them, pull on them, tug them to try to get things to fit, especially if you're using a pre-engineered structure that has the holes already drilled that have to line up. Trust me, do it right. Take your time. If you can't, if you just get lost doing this, call Steve. He'll come do it free.
So now that we've got these pins set, we're going to measure our diagonals, and then we'll move our string to where it's going to match up exactly. Take that.
Let me go over or under.
Oh, you don't
Doesn't
care.
matter.
In order to show you exactly, we have to run the string. So, because that string, these rebar will roll if we just kind of tie it like you normally do in construction, but we want it to be where it's hard and fast where we can pull it tight. So we'll put this string over these pins because we know this is a right angle here, so we know these 3 pins are not going to move. So in order to move this, if we're off this far, all we have to do is move this. Just slide this over. And it'll be, after he gets his set, then we'll be exactly. Okay, now we're going to measure these diagonals. .68 and 5/8. So we're all 5/8 of an inch. We're all 5/8 of an inch of this house to be completely square. 99 times out of 100, that's good enough for us. Only thing that we have to do now is to move that string or this string to where these are exactly, because all we need to do is move it now a half an inch, half a 5/8.
Yeah, about a quarter inch.
About a quarter of an inch is all we'd have to move for this house to be completely square.
That's not bad.
And for what we're doing with these bows and even that, those extrusion on it have to be more exact. But this is close enough that, especially for government work. Where these match right here in the middle, these should be the same as well.
That's pretty good.
And they're right at the same. When the customer's looking over our shoulder, we want to be exactly right too, because they're going to want their house square. So it's like, okay, and we're guessing at it. This is the way that we've improved to speed up our squaring up process. Then the next thing we do is we'll take whatever side we're working on and we'll start our line post.
Yeah.
So our end wall is in the ground with a bag of sackcrete at the bottom. These line posts is nothing but driven in the ground. Our goal is to get it 3 feet in the ground. Or until you hit something hard enough where you can't. Yeah. So we go as far as we can. If we can go all the way to 3 feet, we do.
You want to demonstrate that now?
We'll show you how we do that.
If you are going to drive your post down to the, if you want to drive them all level with each other, then you need to make sure that line is level, right? If you do it the way they do, they just drive the post and then cut them off level. They put the line in after they drive them, but it's the same thing. Now, that means that their plot's not going to be, their ground, their soil level is not level, their soil surface is not level, but they can come in and add soil if it's low in places before they erect the house. So there's several ways to do this. I typically just make my pad, I try to level off as good as I can, and then I level my lines, and then I drive my post to that line.
The first one we drive is really immaterial. We don't need this board for that one, but we need it for the second one. But the first board is going to be where this inside of this post, we'll pull that pin.
Now he's lost his spot.
And then, because the inside of the house is string to string, so if the house is 24 feet wide, we want to go 24 feet from the inside to inside. So, where's your...
It's amazing.
So again, we're not worried so much about this level at this point. All I want to do is make sure we're level with the string this way, not so much this way. After we start it a little bit, then we'll straighten it up. Now that will drive all the way in the ground. We go at least, again, if we can, 3 feet. It'll go all the way to that point until you hit a hard pan and you can't. At this point, I stopped too soon because I didn't. Normally, when you hit that hard pan and it quits, that top will roll, and then it'll get where you can't put the bow in at this point because the bow's going to slide right inside this pipe. So once it gets to the point where after you see it won't go any further, then you've already damaged the top. Then we just take a sawzall and cut it off.
This is how Granddad did it, right?
This is how we used to do it. I mean, we used to get this thing started, and you can really go to town, but you can't find 16-pound hammers very often. They don't sell them at Lowe's or Home Depot. You have to kind of get these. I knew I'd have to find them, but normally what we've always done before in the past is just with this hammer. And you can, between 2 of us and 3 of us, and even 4 of us, you can get this post driven real fast. I kind of like it that way. I don't know why this new generation wants to go with technology. I don't know, we can get it done, but this saves about 25% or 75% of the time. We can get this house done on 30 by 96. Each side we can get done in 30 minutes. Where it used to take us, or for the house, where it used to take us, 3 to 4 hours to do. But now we can, and at the end, and when we get through this, we're ready to start the next phase instead of just being spent.
Okay, this is a little dirty why it's not working well. This is just called a stand-up driver. It's just got a larger pipe with a stinger. This is the same pipe diameter that you use your hoops. Goes in the post, and you drive it. It's just the inertia. 99% of the people are just going to use several different sizes of hammers and a bolt. Or you can custom order a driver from several companies. Farm Tech has them. You can order them from different greenhouse companies that slide down in here, and it takes all the momentum, takes the energy, absorbs the energy so you don't roll out your ground post, okay? Okay, they're going to level the string right now.
Up a little bit.
There you go. Your T-post.
Up a little bit. Yeah.
Now this string now is level. You can see what kind of drop you have at that end. So if you had to have it level, but I will mention with the houses that we don't have to have a level pad with the houses that we have, because you can go with the slope of the ground, and we can adjust the curtain or cut it off to the height we need. So in our house we roll from the top down, so we don't have to be completely level at the bottom.